What would you do if you lost access to all of your Apple devices, your Apple ID, and your password? Well, what you're not going to do is rely on Apple to recover your data. Hello everyone, this is Rick with Cybernetics. If you've lost everything tied to your Apple account, there are only two ways to recover your account and data. The first is through Apple support, and the second is through a secure recovery key. We'll demonstrate how to stay in control of your data with a recovery key. Stick around until the end and we'll explore multiple methods for securing this key so you never lose access to your Apple data. But before we get into that, we will explain why we don't recommend relying on Apple support for data recovery. The first is social engineering or phishing. If you think about it, if you can convince Apple that that account belongs to you, then it's quite possible someone else can also convince Apple that it is their account. It has happened multiple times in Apple's history. The account is vulnerable to someone impersonating you and getting access to your account if you've lost access to it. The second reason is you just might fail, period. May not produce enough information where Apple is convinced that you own the account, and they may never release the account back to you. The third reason is you will not recover all of your data. This is information from Apple about data recovery service, and it tells you specifically for certain information, iCloud data recovery service will not recover all of your data. The only way to recover all of your data, this is from Apple, is to use a recovery key. Next, we'll explore your Apple ID and some of the security associated with that. So your Apple ID is your single access source for getting access to all of your applications and data, email, etc. on your Apple device. So we'll sign in here. And we're using Bitwarden as a password manager. Strongly recommend Bitwarden for managing your passwords. The information in Bitwarden can be secured with multiple security authentication factor methods, and we have a link to our video series on Bitwarden linked above. Because we have two-factor authentication turned on, it's going to send a code to the device. Once we enter that code, we have access to our account. Now, under account security, we're going to go into that. I want to show you that my iPhone and a phone number is associated with this account. Now, if you lose this device and you lose access to the phone number on the device, you will not be able to authenticate back to your account. We have a video on Gmail recovery. Similar things have been happening to people all across the world where they've lost access to the single device on the single phone number that's authenticated to the account, and they cannot get back into the account. So to prevent this from happening to you, we'll go into account recovery. And we have already talked about the iCloud data recovery service. What we're going to explore now is generating a recovery key. So we'll click here, and this talks about how to generate a recovery key, and it will put you in control of being able to generate and reset your own password if you've lost access to your account. Now, the thing to keep in mind is it says if you lose both your devices and this recovery key, that you could be locked out of your account. But that's not true, because if you do, you will be locked out of your account. So if you lose all your devices, your password, and you lose this recovery key, you're not getting back in. If you trust yourself more than you trust Apple to recover your data, then proceed to get a security recovery key for your account. We're going to go step by step and show you through the video how to generate this key. Stick around to the end of the video and we'll show you multiple ways to secure this key so that you never lose access to it. Now we'll walk through the steps on creating the key using the iPhone. And you just go to Settings, come up to your Apple ID, go to Password and Security, click on that. And then under here where it says Account Recovery, select Account Recovery. And right now you can see iCloud Data Recovery Service is highlighted, and The recovery key, even though it says on here, is off. So we're turning it on. Once you turn on the recovery key, this is an important message from Apple again, telling you if you lose your recovery key and can't access your device, Apple won't be able to help you regain access. You just need to do that with eyes wide open. So we're going to select Use Recovery Key. It will ask you to authenticate to the phone. And once you've authenticated to the phone, it will generate the key. Now we're not done yet because we have to make a copy of this key. What I'm going to do is make a screenshot of the key. We're going to paste this into WordPad because now what we have to do is we have to re-enter this key. Come down and click Continue and enter the key. Once you've authenticated the key to the phone, it will sync that to the account. And now you can see recovery key is on. What I want to do is go back over to your Apple account and show you under account recovery, because we need to refresh this since the last time we logged in. We've added the key and we'll go to account recovery. Now you can see the key is on. And this is the only indication that you're going to have that a key is associated with the account is either through logging on through the web and looking in the recovery key section or drilling down through the iOS phone and getting to the recovery key setting. It's a good idea to validate whether there's a key on the account. There could be one associated with the account and you might not even know it. If at some future date you decide you no longer want a recovery key associated with the account, it's as simple as coming back into here and turning it off. They will ask you to validate that you want to turn it off. You will have to re-authenticate to your device. Once you've authenticated to your device, the key will be turned off. Come over here and refresh the web account. Come back into account recovery, and now you can see there is no recovery key. At the beginning of the video, we promised to show you multiple ways to safeguard the recovery key once it was generated. The most technologically advanced way is to write it on a piece of paper. Take that piece of paper and find a secure location, personal safe, safe deposit box, wherever you're confident that that piece of paper will be protected. The next thing to consider is a web-based method that you could host the key so that no matter where you're at in the world, you would be able to get access to it as long as you had an internet connection. Our recommendation is to use Bitwarden. There's links to the videos that we've done on Bitwarden above. It's both a password manager and a secure vault. Once you've selected your web-based method, put that key into the system and secure it with a hardware security key. These keys make it impractical for a hacker to get into your accounts because they have to have physical possession of the key in order to access your data. Once you've added a hardware security key, we recommend that you add a backup security key. If you're not familiar with YubiKey security keys, there's a link to the videos that we've done on YubiKey above. After that, take that security key and also place it into a secure location so that you'll always have access to it. And what's our personal recommendation for securing your recovery key? All of these. Recommend that you do each of these procedures to protect that key to make sure that you'll always have access to it. This concludes our video demonstration of protecting your Apple ID and data with a recovery key. Would you please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel? This supports our efforts in helping others with technology. Post any questions or comments below and have a great and wonderful automation day.